Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and welcome to a special edition of Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm here today to talk to you about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1, episode Plague of the Mantis. This is one of my favorite Power Ranger episodes. It has a great monster design. I gotta give it up to the costume department over in Japan because they really made a great monster design. And I really miss those earlier Power Ranger days when the monsters actually look cool and scary. Now they're just really big, bulky, and silly looking and stuff. And it's really driving me nuts. However, this is a Trini solo episode, and it's one of my all-time favorites with her. I can only think of maybe 3 episodes with her. I know there's one with her cousin Cynthia when they're at the fair or something like that, and that wasn't really that much of an interesting episode. It was neat, but it just didn't really capture her essence, her best episode, even though she got to take the lead in the Megazord battle and stuff. Then there's one where she has kind of this stuffed animal type thing. I don't remember much about that, but I remember it was one of those things that when a monster was defeated by a completely different way and stuff. But this was always my favorite Trini episode, and man, still sad that she died in real life, the actress. I believe her name is Thuy. I kind of have a hard time pronouncing that, but may she rest in peace, man. I wish I could find more interviews or pictures of her, but I can't find that many online. Because I really just want to hear more of what she has to say about just anything, you know what I'm saying? But sadly can't find them. And so in this episode, really tests Trini in her martial arts ability and her use of fairness and stuff. I love the way Trini does martial arts. It's so fluid. Her poses are so beautiful. And that's because the actress studied in Shaolin martial arts. But here, her character is focusing primarily on praying mantis style kung fu. And so, the only time I've ever heard of that was in Avatar Last Airbender with Tough. I love Tough. However, one thing I've noticed that the praying mantis style that they did in Last Airbender is completely different in this. And so, now when I watch Last Airbender, not the movie, but the cartoon, I'm always wondering how come both styles are very different from each other. Now, Master Lee in this is played by I think his name is Robert. I can't remember his last name, but he was in VR Troopers. And man, I miss him too. This episode is sad, man. You have 5 dead stars in this one episode. And may they all rest in peace. You have the actress who played Trini. You have the actor who played Master Lee. You have the voice actor who played Finster. You have Ernie. And lastly, you have the voice actor who voiced Zordon. Man, this is tragic. I tell you this right here, right now. And so, in that episode, there is no Tommy, or there would have been a 6th dead actor. Tommy doesn't appear until the next episode. And so, I've always loved Trini's love for martial arts and her poses and this and that, because she's always had a unique, different fighting style from the rest of the Rangers. And so Master Lee is teaching her that of praying mantis kung fu, but Trini is having difficulties learning the style. And it's nice to see her struggle, because it's nice to see a hero struggle and stuff. And so, but she's just not getting those moves down. And so after that, he takes a break and he tests her, knowledge of it. And he wants to know what's the most, honorable thing about, martial arts. And she tells him that, being fair to your opponent and like, making sure the numbers equal and stuff. Like you always want to fight like one on one, never like a huge group of people on one person, which is what a lot of people do, sadly. And honor is like a huge thing in Asian culture. And that's something that a lot of like other like non-Asian people don't seem to understand. And so, like, he gives her a praying mantis to study so she can study her moves. I got the opportunity a few years ago to see a real life praying mantis, and it was amazing. I took as many pictures as I could because I was just like outside one day, um, near like my old university. I was just like hanging out, and so like I saw one, and it's so cool because I've only seen one in television. And so like it's a really nice like bamboo glass box that he put it in. And so she shows like the other teammates, and of course Zach is freaked out because it's a bug and everything. And like, Billy's doing his nerd thing by calling it by its proper name and stuff. And so Bulk and Skull are in this episode, and they have some pretty funny hijinks in this. Basically, they don't understand why she's training from a bug, and then they realize that hey, they could charge people lots of money to study like bug kung fu. So they go out and they look for bugs and they find cockroaches just to hurry up and get done with this subplot. So like they find cockroaches and they try to get people to learn it, and so they try to mimic the cockroach moves, but Skull of course is only mimicking the dead cockroaches moves and stuff. Then towards the end, they want to like teach everybody the what they call roach fu, I think, or roach kung fu. But then they end up like breaking like the cage, and then so like all the roaches scatter. And but I'm surprised like Zach didn't like, I don't know if he freaked out or not. I can't remember. But anyway, so that's their subplot. And so the team asked Trini plain and simple why she want to learn this new style of like martial arts, and she says that like it's really challenging, but she likes the idea that it's fair and everything, and that you don't cheat, and that's something that's really important to her. And I wish they would have took more time and explored like the Trini character a bit more like they did like the others. Because for the most part, she was the one on the short end of the stick where you don't learn that much about. And so like, she's in the park and she's studying her moves, and Zordon calls by a disturbance in the morphing grid. So of course it's the mantis, because Rita saw the little teeny tiny mantis in her cage and wanted to make one that's completely big out of clay. And once again, giving it up to the costume department. Now, the mantis is confusing. It has a female voice, but throughout the entire episode, they keep calling the mantis a guy, which makes no sense. And the mantis is voiced by Barbara Godson, the one who does the voice for Rita. I couldn't even tell the difference. That's how good she is. Like, I didn't even know it was a completely different actress and stuff. I mean, I could tell the difference. I mean, but I couldn't tell it was a completely different actress. And so the mantis, wants to fight her and like all this other stuff. And so they fight, but she ends up getting her butt whooped and everything. And then so the other Rangers show up, and this is where we have an error in continuity. They come in with their blade blasters, but when they land, there are no blade blasters. And it's like, the editing department couldn't find a scene where they're coming in without their blade blasters. Like, it just doesn't make no sense. So the mantis is all like, oh no, you have no honor. You brought your friends to like a fair fight and everything. So the mantis like, scurries away. Now, before all this happened, it was nice to hear Trini be all like, I have to morph. It would have been nicer to hear her say it's morphing time. But this is around the time that sometimes they ain't always do that. Because like I remember in the earlier Mighty Morphin days, they never used to say it's morphin time. They would just say like something else or just like morph. But like, I think she's the only one who's never said it's morphin time. But one weird, odd thing is that in the Sentai footage, after the character morphs, after doing like a bunch of flips and stuff, they do a bunch of martial art poses that go on for way too long. And I'm just kind of like, You don't even know where the mantis is because you're standing in the wrong direction. You're just doing all these martial art poses. Like, I don't understand that. Why couldn't they edit that out when doing Power Rangers and stuff? But anyway, she gets her butt kicked and the mantis gets pissed and all this other stuff. So at some point in time, Trini is back at the youth center, still practicing, and Ernie gives her a note. She thinks it's from Master Elite. He wants to meet her in the quarry, but is of course the mantis. So she has to gear up again and like fight the mantis. This time she's doing a better job of holding her own. But the mantis decides to cheat and bring in the putties. But she's pissed, and then the monster's all like, "Remember what you said? Like, I'm one of Rita's monsters. You can't trust me. I have no honor," and stuff like that. So she has to fight the putties, and she had to fight the mantis, dude. And so the Rangers themselves, in their civilian forms, they want to know what's up with Trini because they can't find her, and then they don't understand why, like, her master wants to meet her in this specific place. So when they go to find her, boom, they get attacked by putties. And then we get a great civilian fight. And I love how interesting it is. It really shows off like the unique styles of the different Rangers fighting, especially Billy cowardness, but he's still able to hold his own. We have like Kimberly's like, gymnastics. I don't think Zach dances in this. Thank God. I get kind of tired of him dancing all the time. And I don't care what Simon Bennett says. Civilian fights in Power Rangers are important. Why? Because they're cool. And so, like, we see Trini again. And of course, she's like holding her own. And she busts out one power dagger, but one only. And so, next thing you know, the rest of the Rangers show up. And she's all like, "It's a fair fight now." And I'm all like, "No, it's not." Because now it's 5 against 1. Because the putties have left, I think. So I don't understand why they made her say that. But anyway, Rita makes the monster grow. They get in the Megazord. They defeat the monster. And then, of course, it's back to the Vulcan Skull Roach thing. And so, yeah, this is a really cool Trini episode. It has a great villain in this. Like, it really tests her mind, her strength, and her honor and stuff like that. And it's one of the better Trini episodes, in my opinion. Happy Asian and Pacific Islander month, everybody. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.